Brother Ampu, for me, man, Siraj Rich God for me, brother. Poetry kind of fell on me. I've always been an advocate reader. I've always kind of studied. I didn't know I was studying. I just like reading. I went to Lawson State Community College. I'm a freshman. It's 1994. It's a long time ago. I'm sitting in a literature class, and we was doing some literature, and the poet we was studying was Walt Whitman. You familiar with him?
No. Yeah. Walt Whitman, huh?
Walt Whitman, I tell y'all. All you poets, you should be familiar with Walt Whitman. So they say.
Tell us about him.
So Walt Whitman, Walt Whitman write these poems, right, that the teacher trying to get us to, break down what he's actually saying. And Walt Whitman is this dude that's in his literature book, European guy with a big old beard, old man.
I thought he sound European. That's funny.
Yeah, so I'm in the class, and I really wasn't digging the poem. It was all, kind of backwards, saying this, and didn't make no sense. And honestly, I said, I could do this. I could do this and make it make sense. And I wrote my first poem. It was called America, the Democracy, or Is It Hypocrisy? That was the first line that I wrote in '94 in the classroom. And for 2 years, I wrote in secret, didn't let nobody know I was writing poems. Then poetry got kind of cool with the slam and all this, and then Love Jones and all this. So poetry got a little movement going. At the time, I'm reading my poems out of a book, out my book, looking up at guys like, man, I want to memorize a poem one day, So for as my journey, man, I really got into it for us. It helped me. It gave me an avenue to release. It gave me an avenue to direct some misdirected energy. Instead of acting on it, I just wrote about it. So with me writing about it, it became like a therapy, and that's why I do it now still. Poetry is a therapy for a lot of people. So that's my story, bro. In Birmingham, Alabama.
Who were some of the first spots that you?
We did Love Jones Wednesdays. Birmingham, Alabama. It was every Wednesday. I hosted about a year, maybe almost 2 years. Numerous spots, man. Numerous spots. What was it? The High Rocking Horse, something like that. Oh man, Birmingham had a nice movement on some spoken word poetry, bro. We got some hot hitters. We OGs now, but it was some hot hitters at the crib back in the day. The Glenwood Herbs and my boy Obey and M.A. and his brother Huggy Bear out of Mobile.
Yeah.
Oh man, we was heavy with it, bro. And then we was moving around. So in my journey, poetry, I was in Atlanta. Then I went back home. And when I went home to Birmingham, then it's like 96. I started hosting shows.
Okay.
So when I started hosting shows, it kept me around the poetry. And here we are.
Yeah.
I can't say I grew up telling myself I'm going to be a poet.
Right.
But I've always been different.
Right.
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 And then my name, right?
How you come up with Timbuktu? See, that's one of the coolest names.
And see what's cool about it, man, and Pooh, I'm gonna tell you, man, you gotta have some big balls to call yourself Timbuktu. If you know what Timbuktu is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Half the time folks don't know what Timbuktu is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This ain't nothing I made up. Right. So look, when we were kids, I'm gonna knock you to Timbuktu. All we knew, or what you knew, was Timbuktu was a far, far place.
It's in Africa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's way somewhere though. Timbuktu? Yeah. I'm gonna knock you to Timbuktu?
Yeah.
That's somewhere that...
Yeah.
But the question remains with me, okay, we was children saying the word Timbuktu. Where did we get that from?
Right.
Who told us something about Timbuktu? They weren't teaching that in no schools.
Right.
On the playground, I'm gonna knock you to Timbuktu. Who said something about Timbuktu?
Right.
We didn't even know where it was.
Or if it was a place.
If it was a place. It was some far place where I'm going to hit you so hard, you're going to be gone. So, say 98, my first name was, oh man, this is a good story. My first stage name was Genoa Black Man Smith.
Your real name. You went with the real name for a little while.
My mother name was Genoa.
Yeah.
Genoa Black Man Smith. I was Black Man. You know, I'm all about Malcolm X. I'm all about Bob Marley. I'm all about Black liberation.
Yeah.
In my teenage years coming up, I'm ex-clanning and things.
Yeah.
So I was Black Man. And if you knew me, I was Black Man. Got to kind of shifted around, you know, growing a little bit. So, man, I'm going to change my name to something else. I'm riding on the highway, bro, and Timbuktu came to mind. Timbuktu. At this time, wasn't no computers. I ain't had no computer, no smartphone.
Right.
Brother had to go to the encyclopedia and look up Timbuktu. You feel me? So I go look up Timbuktu. It's talking about this place. Its original name is Timbuktu. Timbuktu. Timbuktu is the first place of study. Universal study. Hence the word why we go to universities. The universal study started in Timbuktu, which is now Mali, Africa. Okay? Timbuktu was the headquarters for knowledge. When the Greek come over and study with us, they went back and duplicated what we taught them. You know, that's a Greek version, and there's an African Kemetic version. You know, so for me, Timbuktu, like I said, I always was reading and studying, not knowing I'm studying. I just like to read. I said, well, man, I want to go to Timbuktu because they said that's where the original knowledge began. And I want to know all the knowledge. I strive to obtain all the knowledge. Therefore, I call myself Timbuktu the poet. So it was a learning thing for me.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I had a brother one time ask me, man, do you even know what that is? And I was offended.
Right. You think you just took the name,
The
not knowing the depths of it. Look.
To think that I would call myself
Right,
something and not know the definition of it.
Right.
Because, back to what I said, because you don't have the balls to call yourself that. You questioning if I know who I am.
Right. So, when I first moved out here, for the longest, I went with my birth name, Siraj Rakim. Rakim, my middle name. And even before I came out here, I was calling my artist name was Siraj Rakim, right? And so last year, at the top of last year, I changed it up. I said I don't know when you use I'm gonna flip it up a little bit. So I called myself, it was Siraj Rich King. But I did that because I heard my divine self telling me, speak wealth into my name.
That's right.
So I put the Rich King in there to speak wealth into my life.
Right
you know
on.
what I'm talking about?
Words sound powerful.
But then towards the end of last year, I heard my divine self tell me, go a little higher. You more than a king. Go a little higher.
Right.
And
Rich God.
Rich God, right? And so I stand on it. I stand in Siraj Rich God. You know what I'm talking about? Because I know who I am. I know who I am. You know what I'm talking about?
I am.
And so sometimes I be like, I wonder if people get offended. I don't care, but I be like, well, I wonder if people get offended when me calling myself God.
Of course they do.
I know they do, but they don't never tell me. But I be like, whatever. But yeah, Siraj Rich God. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's what it is.
Take balls to do that.
Yeah.
Can I say balls?
Yes, sir.
Well, you gotta have balls to do that. You cannot have balls and have courage. I guess.
Yeah, but hey, I mean, that's who I am. That's who we are.
That's right.
And I stand on it.
I see it on you.
I stand on it, my brother.
Hey, that's where it sound power, man.
Oh yeah, brother.
Be what you speak.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Then, you know, they got the DJ dude, Charlemagne, call himself Charlemagne.
Charlemagne the guy, yeah. But I think Charlemagne is the old white. That's the white king, I think. I don't know, but yeah.
It's got some. It ain't got no.
Charlemagne might be a black guy, man. I don't know. I might be wrong.
I think it's some shit from the Dungeons and Dragons or something. I don't know. But you know.
Yeah.
He called himself Charlemagne the God, and they call him that.
Yeah.
Names, right?
But if you looking at wisdom book, and so Yeshua spoke about not seeing it robbery to see yourself equal with God, because we are that. People don't understand that we are manifestations of what God is. It's telling you that through the whole book.
Well,
made
you
in the
know,
image and likeness
I
of.
was finna say,
You know?
made in the image of,
Right.
in my likeness.
Yeah.
If I'm to look in the mirror and I see that reflection coming back and then read this scripture,
Yeah.
that's God I'm seeing.
Yeah.